how do we best deal with the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender issues that we're facing in the church and in the community?
Well, first of all, we have to treat people with love and respect no matter who they are. We can't feel threatened by people of a homosexual lifestyle. So as much as possible, and I did this starting in my college years, I've always, throughout my life, had people who were involved in a homosexual lifestyle who I considered my friends. They knew what I believed, but I did not shun them. I did not treat them any differently than anybody else. I would have coffee with someone who was homosexual or lesbian. I would just treat them as a normal coworker or neighbor or friend or whatever they were. You just have to treat them matter-of-factly. Now, it does not mean you approve of their lifestyle. But just as, let's say someone is living with his girlfriend, living in fornication, what are you going to do? You're going to stand outside their house with a poster saying you're going to hell? No, you treat them as a normal human being. That's the same way you should treat somebody who's in a homosexual relationship. So I think that's the first thing, is to calm down and just treat people as people. We respect their human rights. We respect their right to vote. We respect their citizenship. We respect them as individuals. They can be a wonderful person in a lot of ways. They can be highly moral in their thinking about a lot of things. But they're just wrong in this area, and they're a sinner. But that's true of all kinds of sins. So that's the first thing. At the same time, we have to be clear that we believe the homosexual lifestyle is sin. And as appropriate, we will teach on that. We'll preach on that. But again, not single it out. I think the way we approach it is so important. When I would be preaching from the pulpit as a pastor, if I felt it was appropriate and important to say that abortion is a sin, or fornication is a sin, or homosexuality is a sin, I would say that. But it would be in the context of God has a better plan for your life. Because I have to realize that in my audience are people who are participating in those sins, or who have family and friends that they love who are participating in those sins. So I can't just offer a message of condemnation. Jesus himself said, I did not come to condemn the world. My message is basically one of transformation and hope. So we're not compromising, but we offer a positive message that God has a better plan for you. I think that's the best way to deal with the issue from a pulpit standpoint or from a church standpoint. And I would make a couple of comments. We have to avoid a spirit of suspicion. And also, we cannot buy into the false worldly concept of homosexuality as your identity. So, here's what I think. If you commit homosexual acts, that's a sin. But if you refrain from homosexual acts, you're not committing sin. So the first step for someone who's struggling with that kind of lifestyle is stop committing those acts and stop engaging in those fantasies or in that kind of pornography. I would say that to any single young person, it's really the same struggle. You have a struggle in our culture to be sexually pure, whether it's homosexual or heterosexual. So if there's a young person struggling with homosexual tendencies or temptations or even actions, I would say the first thing, just like any other young person, you got to get control of your desires by the power of the Holy Ghost. And if you do that, I respect you. So I'm not going to put you in a category of a homosexual. If you stop committing those acts and stop allowing yourself to indulge in those things, then I'm going to commend you. That's the starting point. So we can't put them in this strange category and beat them up for an identity. The world would try to say that's your identity, you can't do anything about it. I think the church perspective should be that's a wrongful act. So let's stop the wrongful acts that displease God, and then we can work on everything else from there.